Take 3. Okay. So I got a question last night about getting to the guard and attacking from it and actually kind of maintaining that. So there's going to be several different stages that you're going to be in that are going to, is your guard getting past? Is that part of the issue, or are you trying to escape from a side control to get into a guard? So it just kind of depends on what's going on there. So one of the first things is that Jet is inside my guard. And he starts to go for like the double underhooks to start to kind of do a low pass. Right? Again, we just covered this relatively recently. You see what Jet's done here is that he's actually brought my hips on top of his hips. This kind of kills my hip mobility, especially if he gets his elbows close to my hips, right? And then what he's going to do is he's going to start to stack me, and when he's pressuring down on my shoulders like this is killing my shoulder mobility. So I have no shoulder or hip mobility, and then he's going to turn the corner and start to establish that reverse switch base. So if Jet is inside my guard, the first things that I want to do is, first of all, I don't want to get his hands to lock up when he opens this up and starts to swim under, right? So if he's starting to swim under, I'm going to just kind of grip this like this and like this, just to stop him from locking up. This is not necessarily going to stop the pass. He could totally just drop his elbows down and then like hook my thighs and pull me in, but it's going to be a lot less secure. I'm going to have more wiggle room and whatnot. So that's one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm just going to block that grip. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kind of extend out my heels and make my hips heavy. And you see when I'm doing that, my hips are actually coming off the ground. If I'm leaving them on the ground, then I'm not really making myself all that heavy, right? And he can still start to pick me up and start to pull me in. But once I get kind of here, he's going to have a harder time trying to connect my hips to his hips. So go ahead and just try to bring me in, Jet, and connect, right? And you see I'm trying to keep my lever out. So he's working really hard to try to get my hips controlled, right? So that's going to be the next thing, right? So it's good, in the beginning, this is going to be very good. If he does start to pick me up, right, I might start to hip out so that, you see it's kind of trying to break his grip here. I'm going to get on the shoulder, made this hip very, very heavy. Even if he like starts to throw off this leg, I can very easily circle it back over and come back towards the closed guard position. Other things that I could do is if he does start to close it up, I can try to get onto one hip and push that elbow up. And so that's going to kind of start to block that path, right? He's just really, really working on getting that leg out and coming back into the closed guard. Now, the next one he's going to do is he's going to do like a knee cut or something like that over my legs. So he's going to come over and he's going to staple my leg. Now, the big thing here, when somebody's starting to do... it's all right. The big thing here is that when Jet is doing this knee cut, is that I don't want to be flat my back. And the thing about, especially new people, is that they're like, I'm on my side, right here. Because the shoulder's off the ground. Right? But if I really, really want to kind of stop him from being able to flatten me out, I actually kind of want to be more here. So you see it? Let's go ahead and have you over here by that one. Right? When he starts to do that knee cut, I'm going to be very, very aggressive about almost getting this shoulder further in. I want to be careful about this top arm because even if he doesn't pass, like he could underhook this arm and he can go for a Darce choke here, right? Go ahead. So you're going to go over this way and go hook my head. Underside, come on. It's a Darce. There you go. So once we get to this position, like he can still finish that Darce choke. So my frame on this bicep that's going to be preventing his head control should be mostly with my lower arm. And if anything, like I might even have this arm in kind of this more pillow position, if you could just posture up for a second, right? And having it in here so that he can't get the underhook here. Because one of the things that he might try to do is he might even try to go into like a reverse switch base, right? Where he brings this arm over because I'm trying to stop him from getting head control. He gets here and he switches his hips and all that. If I'm keeping this arm in and Jet goes ahead and does that, go ahead, fall back into that. Right, I have it as a lever that I can use to help push me up. So I'm kind of preventing that by keeping this down here. That doesn't mean like this is the greatest thing in the world, but it's a good concept. So I'm trying to keep my shoulder in deeper, my top shoulder deeper into my lower shoulder, and I'm here, right? If I can, I will even try to get this knee in to create a knee shield, or I could step. If we could get your butt to the camera, I'll step right here. So if Jet does get head control here, he gets past this and he tries to come around, right? This is gonna help kind of stop him from coming around. And so I can maybe start to square up and get that bottom knee in and come back to this kind of half guard. I guess this would almost be a half guard. It's one foot in, 1 foot out. Almost there, back to the closed guard, trying to get squared back up. But just to kind of go back to this for a second, Jet's main goal when he wants to establish side control is to really flatten me out. So even if I'm not even going to block his bicep right now. Jet, go ahead and try to pass my guard and just try to flatten me out and try to get into good side control. Go ahead and really go for it like we're actually rolling. Right? See, just trying to stay on my side is preventing a lot of that. And if he gets really, really aggressive with this, right, he's going to start to unroot himself and he's going to start allowing me to roll him over. So just thinking about not letting me flatten you out, right, if we're reversed. So Jet's staying really, really hard on his side. He's keeping this shoulder in deeper. It's like people are going to overcommit to this to try to get him to flatten out. It's not that there's things that aren't things that they can do, right? Which is one of the reasons why blocking that bicep's really important. Like, if I could get the head, I could pick him up and roll him. But in the meantime, if he's blocking that bicep, I can't do that. So if he's just keeping this shoulder in deeper than the other one, this pass is not gonna happen, right? I have to go into something else. So just from a very basic concept, staying really, really far on your side, like you're almost too far in, and you don't have to really worry about him flattening you out. Sometimes people will abandon this leg. Go ahead and come back into that knee cut. Right? When they've been doing it for a while, they might start to sprawl out and shoot their legs out, right? So go ahead and you're not even worrying about that leg anymore. What I'll do in this point is I'll actually take this top leg and I'll put it in front. Now, there's no way that's just gonna flatten me out. He might consider trying to step over and climb onto my back here, but it's gonna be really hard for him to do, right? So if you're pressing into me like you're trying to flatten me out and you decide you're going to step this leg over to flatten me out, right? I can really easily pull this in, right? And now I have sweeps that I can do from there. Right? The last one is if Jet decides that he's gonna stand, right? And from standing, he might go ahead and stand all the way up, right? So he might go for like a Toriando or something like that, where he's gonna be pulling my leg over to the side and all that. Different things I can do here is I can block that path, right? So that I can square back up and come into here. I could be working with different pushes and pulls, getting into like De La Rivas and all that stuff. So really, getting to the guard and being able to play from the guard is going to be a lot of prevention, and it's going to be a lot of preventing him from getting you flat. So let's go ahead. We're going to start from a side control escape next. That's going to get us to the guard, and I want to make sure that we're hitting some really, really key points on the side control escape. So we'll be right back on the next video.